first of all, keep in mind the distinction here. Like when you're saying we're talking about this, we're talking to the coaches in
Yeah.
this episode because as the players, which we've talked about this a million times, whether you have a good or a bad coach, we've talked about how to deal with that. Either way, that's not what this one's about. This is like we're talking to the coaches on this one. So maybe to wrap up everything kind of that we just talked about, what would be your, like, let's say 2, 3 things that if you had to say, do these and you'll be an effective or an impactful coach, what are the most important? And then maybe they could be the exact opposite of the 3 positives, but like what are a few things where you'd be like, don't do that. That's something that in your experience hasn't been a good thing.
Well, it's always depends on the level, but I guess it really doesn't matter. Is number one, I just said it earlier, is you're coaching a hockey team. So please go in there with a little bit of hockey
Yeah.
or a lot of hockey. You don't have to be the best X's and O's coach in the whole world, but you have to bring something to the table for hockey. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but there's a lot of coaches in youth hockey that don't bring anything.
That was me
Hockey,
until I was 16, man.
I know, I know.
Legit didn't. Okay, sorry to interrupt you. Didn't, for people that have been in hockey or they have kids in hockey, when you're like 11, 12, coaches are now starting to, like, because of all the Hockey Canada stuff, they start to implement some systems like breakouts and regroup. I didn't know what a D to D regroup was until I was 15 years old. We want to talk about no systems. Like we played the ping pong hockey, shoot it up
Yeah.
the wall to get it out until I was 15, man. So for the love of God, know something about hockey, please.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah, so that's what I would say is know something about hockey, take a course or two, and then have some sort of a plan based on what your team is. So that would be number one. Like as a coach, have a plan that you can stick to, and you can be malleable. You can be, I'm throwing words out. So you can be flexible,
Unreal. Yeah.
right? You can be flexible with certain things because you make adjustments. But this is the type of game that we should look like playing. Whether it works or not, it's something. Something's better than nothing. Number two would be have a communication skill of some sort. Like every player needs to be able to be to talk to be able to talk to or be coached in some way. So be able to communicate something the best that you can. And then the third thing would be like all the kids are watching. Like so this might be a couple things in one. So number one is that if you don't take care of yourself, I'm not saying you need a 6-pack, but if you don't take care of yourself, like basic hygiene, that's a good start, right? Right. But and you're representing them properly. Like even if maybe a goal could be losing 10 pounds or 5 pounds. Like it's actually kind of important. Like being able to do basic fitness things with them. Like if you were going for a little like a warm-up jog or a stretch or something, that you could do something to mimic it, or if you're doing a drill, it's not like you could do some. So like having some type of fitness or be put together in some sort of way that it's respectable, because the kids will look at you physically, and if you don't have like some sort of presence that you're put together a little bit. I'm not talking like, again, not 6-pack. I'm just talking a decent, you're dressed decently, like, and you look
carry
like
yourself
you can
well,
carry yourself
yeah.
at least decently and have some confidence. It goes a long way. And along with that, carrying yourself is, don't be a bullshitter. Like learn the ability to be truthful, and sometimes you have to put velvet on a sledgehammer or to deliver the message properly, or sometimes you have to be brutally honest or whatever, but be honest with people and kids so that they know where they stand with you. So those would be like the 2, 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. That's great. Are there anything on the flip side? Obviously, the negatives are the opposites of the positives.
Yeah,
but is
yeah,
there
pretty
anything
much
in particular that stands out that's a little bit different?
Well,
That's like
yeah, don't
really
be
negative.
don't be like for me, it's like I see sometimes the coaches like they're neutered cats everywhere else in the world. What I mean by that is just like, and then they become a coach of a hockey team. They get a jacket, and they all of a sudden they know everything about everything, and they're control freaks in this one little area of their life. You know, it's 5:15, time for a warm up. Warm up 5:15. You know, let's go do our team stretch. And like they become control freaks or whatever. But I would say, yeah, the opposites. Don't like have a plan, but don't bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Cool. I think for me, the one thing I'll leave with too is There's a little another word that could be good is like you want to try to be like a genuine person when you're being a coach. Like
That's a good way to put it.
don't change the game just because you're a coach now.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be honest and truthful and all that and not a bullshitter. That's the biggest thing for me is not being a bullshitter. But the last thing I'll say for the coaches is remember why you're there.
Yeah.
Especially in minor hockey, but even when you're coaching in junior or whatever, and like sometimes the game changes and some people are genuinely pursuing being a coach. And to a certain degree, then you have to be worried about yourself when you're trying to progress if you want to be a coach, like as a career. And I can understand that. But at the end of the day, the way that you're a good coach is if your players buy into what you're trying to teach them, you know, and we're keeping in mind the reason why you're coaching, which should be, for the most part, you're trying to develop the kids and make sure that your team has fun playing, develops while they're playing, wins some games, and hopefully they can move on to higher levels after that. That should be kind of the goal. It's not about I'm the coach and everybody look at me on the bench because I'm the coach of the team. Even when you get to the higher ages, even if you want to go on to be an OHL or an NHL coach or whatever, it takes getting the result with your team to get there. And I haven't seen it happen often where the coach is all about me, and that working out. Sometimes it does.
Yeah, or another side of that is the coach that coaches to make money.
Right.
In youth hockey.
Yeah.
Like I know it sounds ridiculous, but some coach just to make money.
Yeah.
And that's not the area you should be doing that in.
Yep.
But any coach that hears that and thinks I'm offside, then they shouldn't listen to this anyways.
Yeah, that's right. Right. That's right.
Now, when I say that though, it doesn't mean that you can't. You can't.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you can't.
It's the intention again, man. It's like,
the
what's
intention.
the intention,
If you're
right?
coaching, because I knew some guys in Detroit, holy crap, man.
Yeah.
The guy coached 4 or 5 different teams, couldn't coach his way out of a wet paper bag. Had all these different teams. So I asked him one day, I said, so what do you do for a living? He goes, looks at me like, what do you mean? The question was, what do you do for a living? Yeah. Like, I'm normal, bud. I'm a normal human. I'm asking a freaking question.
Yeah.
Well, I coach hockey. I go, what, like this stuff? Adam, Pee Wee, U13? Yeah, I'm a hockey coach. I said, okay. So he goes around and pimps himself out for every team to make 10 grand here, 8 grand here. Like,
yeah,
that's the guy you don't want coaching. Trust me. Because he cares about getting paid, and he'll coach anyone, anytime to get paid and whatever. So, but now, having said that, sometimes it doesn't make sense to go out and coach a team because you're losing money. Okay. Expenses should be paid. Okay. There's maybe a depending on where you live, a minimum, like a something to entice a coach to coach. I get coaches are,
sure.
You know, I personally wouldn't want to coach youth hockey right now.
Yeah.
It would cost me money.
Yeah, but it's
but
time,
if someone
it's
said,
effort,
okay, well, it's your business, how much do you need? I don't even want to go there, but there are, and there's organizations that pay their coaches, and that's fine, I guess. That's fine in youth hockey, I guess. But I digress.
Yeah.